There are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. It takes considerable knowledge just to realize the extent of your own ignorance. Nobody is equal to anybody, even the same man is not equal to himself on different days. Politics is the art of making your selfish desire seem like the national interest. What exactly is your fair share of what someone else has worked for? Social engineering, the art of replacing what works with what sounds good. Social engineering, the art of replacing what works with what sounds good. Deception is one of the quickest ways to gain little things and lose big things. In the long run, the greatest weapon of mass destruction is stupidity. Ideas are everywhere, but knowledge is rare. Talkers are usually more articulate than doers, since talk is their specialty. The Constitution cannot protect us unless we protect the Constitution. The most basic question is not what is best, but who shall decide what is best. Liberalism is totalitarianism with a human face. Politeness and consideration for others is like investing pennies and getting dollars back. The freedom of America is the freedom to live your own life and take your own chances. Relevance is not something you can predict. It is something you discover after the fact. Life does not ask what we want, it presents us with options. There is no bigger waste of time than doing 90% of what is necessary. If a word means everything, then it means nothing. Competition does a much more effective job than government at protecting consumers. Doing the right thing is fun. If nothing else, it surprises people. You cannot subsidize irresponsibility and expect people to become more responsible. There are few things more dishonorable than misleading the young. When you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. It is hard to imagine a more stupid or more dangerous way of making decisions than by putting those decisions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong. Racism is not dead, but it is on life support, kept alive by politicians, race hustlers, and people who get a sense of superiority by denouncing others as racists. One of the most important reasons for studying history is that virtually every stupid idea that is in vogue today has been tried before and proved disastrous before, time and again. I have never understood why it is greed to want to keep the money you have earned but not greed to want to take somebody else's money. The first lesson of economics is scarcity. There is never enough of anything to fully satisfy all those who want it. The first lesson of politics is to disregard the first lesson of economics. One of the common failings among honorable people is a failure to appreciate how thoroughly dishonorable some other people can be, and how dangerous it is to trust them. Sometimes it seems as if there are more solutions than problems. On closer scrutiny, it turns out that many of today's problems are a result of yesterday's solutions. Intellectuals may like to think of themselves as people who speak truth to power, but too often they are people who speak lies to gain power. Some of the most vocal critics of the way things are being done are people who have done nothing themselves, and whose only contributions to society are their complaints and moral exhibitionism. What multiculturalism boils down to is that you can praise any culture in the world except Western culture, and you cannot blame any culture in the world except Western culture. One of the consequences of such notions as entitlements is that people who have contributed nothing to society feel that society owes them something, apparently just for being nice enough to grace us with their presence. The strongest argument for socialism is that it sounds good. The strongest argument against socialism is that it doesn't work. That those who live by words will always have a soft spot in their hearts for socialism because it sounds so good. The most fundamental fact about the ideas of the political left is that they do not work. Therefore, we should not be surprised to find the left concentrated in institutions where ideas do not have to work in order to survive. What the political left, even in democratic countries, share is the notion that knowledgeable and virtuous people like themselves have both a right and a duty to use the power of government to impose their superior knowledge and virtue on others. In liberal logic, if life is unfair, then the answer is to turn more tax money over to politicians to spend in ways that will increase their chances of getting re-elected.